Welcome to Cosmic Serenity. Today, we're venturing into the depths of existence itself. What does it truly mean to exist? It's a question that has puzzled minds for millennia, and we're about to embark on a journey to explore its many facets. Existence is something we take for granted every day. We wake up, we go about our lives, we interact with the world around us. But have you ever stopped to really consider what it means to exist? Is it simply a matter of occupying physical space? Is it about consciousness? Or is there something more to it? Let's start by diving into some philosophical arguments for existence. One of the most well-known is the cosmological argument. This line of thinking posits that everything that exists must have a cause. It's like a cosmic game of dominoes. If you see a line of fallen dominoes, you know that something must have knocked over the first one to start the chain reaction. Similarly, if we look at the universe with all its complexity and intricate systems, the cosmological argument suggests there must have been a first cause, something that set everything in motion. This first cause, according to some philosophers, is what we might call God. But it's important to note that this doesn't necessarily refer to any specific religious deity. It's more of a conceptual starting point, an uncaused cause that initiated the existence of everything else. But this leads us to an interesting question. If everything needs a cause, what caused the first cause? This is where we run into the problem of infinite regress. It's like asking, what came before the beginning? Our minds struggle to comprehend the concept of something that has always existed, with no beginning and no cause. Moving on, let's consider another philosophical argument for existence, the ontological argument. Now, this one's a bit of a mind-bender, so stay with me. The ontological argument proposes that if we can conceive of a perfect being, a being greater than which nothing can be imagined, then that being must exist. Why? Because existence is a form of perfection. If this perfect being didn't exist, then we could imagine an even more perfect being that did exist, which would contradict our original definition. It's a bit like saying that the concept of a perfect circle wouldn't be complete without an actual circle existing somewhere in reality. The idea is that existence is a necessary component of perfection. However, this argument has its critics too. One of the main criticisms is that it seems to be trying to define something into existence. Can we really prove the existence of something just by thinking about it? Moreover, what exactly do we mean by perfect? Perfection can be subjective, and what one person considers perfect might not be the same for another. Let's move on to another philosophical perspective, the argument from consciousness. This argument suggests that our own experience of being conscious is itself proof of existence. It's summed up in René Descartes' famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am." The idea is that even if everything else we perceive is an illusion, the fact that we're perceiving at all proves that we exist in some form. This leads us to an interesting thought experiment called solipsism. Solipsism is the idea that only your own mind is sure to exist. Everything else, the world around you, other people, even your own body, could potentially be an illusion. It's a rather lonely philosophy, but it's one that's difficult to disprove. After all, how can you be absolutely certain that anything exists outside of your own consciousness? But let's step back from pure philosophy for a moment and consider some scientific perspectives on existence. Science approaches the question of existence from a different angle, focusing on the physical components that make up our reality. From a physics standpoint, existence is all about particles, forces, and energy. Everything we can observe in the universe is made up of fundamental particles interacting through various forces. Even seemingly empty space is teeming with quantum fluctuations, particles popping in and out of existence at the quantum level. This scientific view of existence raises some interesting questions. Is existence solely dependent on these physical components? Or is there something more to it? Can we reduce all of existence to just particles and energy? Or is there an additional element that we're missing? One fascinating scientific theory that expands our concept of existence is the multiverse theory. This proposes that our universe is just one of many, perhaps even an infinite number, of universes. Each of these universes might have different physical laws, different constants, different forms of matter and energy. If this theory is true, then existence becomes a much broader concept than just our own little corner of the cosmos. Imagine for a moment the implications of a multiverse. It would mean that existence isn't limited to what we can observe in our universe. There could be entire realities out there that operate on principles we can't even begin to comprehend. It's a mind-boggling thought, isn't it? But let's take this a step further. There's another scientific hypothesis that really challenges our notion of existence: the simulation argument. This theory proposes that our entire reality, everything we perceive and experience, could be a sophisticated computer simulation. Now, before you dismiss this as science fiction, consider this. As our technology advances, we're becoming increasingly capable of creating complex simulations. Video games, for example, are becoming more and more realistic. It's not inconceivable that at some point in the future, we might be able to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality. If that's possible, then statistically speaking, it's more likely that we're living in one of these simulations than in the one base reality. After all, there could be countless simulations, but only one original reality. This brings us to a profound question. If we're living in a simulation, what does it mean to exist? Are we any less real just because we're made of code instead of flesh and blood? Do our thoughts, feelings, and experiences have any less meaning? These questions lead us to an interesting thought experiment known as the brain in a vat scenario. Imagine a human brain removed from its body and kept alive in a vat of nutrients. This brain is connected to a sophisticated computer that feeds it electrical signals, creating a simulated reality indistinguishable from the real world. From the perspective of this brain, it would be living a full life, unaware that its body and the world it perceives are just electrical impulses. Would we say that this brain exists? It's certainly thinking and experiencing, even if those experiences aren't based on physical reality as we understand it. This thought experiment challenges our notions of what it means to exist. Is physical presence necessary for existence? Or is conscious experience enough? And if conscious experience is enough, does that mean that characters in our dreams exist in some form? These questions might seem abstract, but they have very real implications. As we develop more sophisticated artificial intelligence, we'll need to grapple with questions of machine consciousness. If we create an AI that can think and reason like a human, would it be considered to exist in the same way we do? Would it have rights? Would turning it off be considered a form of death? Let's take a moment to consider the implications of these various perspectives on existence. The philosophical arguments we've discussed, the cosmological argument, the ontological argument, and the argument from consciousness, all approach existence from different angles. They ask us to consider existence in terms of causality, perfection, and conscious experience. The scientific perspectives, on the other hand, ground existence in the physical world. They ask us to consider the fundamental building blocks of reality, the possibility of multiple universes, and even the potential for our reality to be a simulation. Each of these perspectives offers valuable insights, but none of them provide a complete, irrefutable answer to the question of what it means to exist. And perhaps that's the point. The concept of existence is so fundamental, so all-encompassing, that it defies simple definition. Consider for a moment your own existence. You're listening to this podcast, processing these ideas. You're conscious, thinking, feeling. You exist in a physical sense, you occupy space, you're made up of atoms and molecules. But is that all there is to your existence? What about your thoughts, your memories, your personality? These aren't physical things you can touch or see, yet they're integral to who you are, to your existence as a unique individual. Do these non-physical aspects of yourself exist in the same way that your body does? And what about when you're asleep or under anesthesia? When you're not conscious, do you exist in the same way? If consciousness is a key component of existence, what happens to your existence when you're not conscious? These questions might seem purely academic, but they have profound implications for how we understand ourselves and our place in the universe. They influence our beliefs about life, death, and the nature of reality itself. For instance, if we believe that existence is purely physical, it might lead us to a materialist worldview. We might conclude that when our physical bodies cease to function, our existence ends completely. On the other hand, if we believe that existence encompasses more than just the physical, if we believe in a soul or a consciousness that transcends the body, it could lead to very different conclusions about what happens after death. Similarly, our understanding of existence shapes our ethical frameworks. If we believe that conscious experience is the key to existence, it might influence our views on animal rights or on the ethical treatment of AI as it becomes more sophisticated. The question of existence also has implications for how we approach scientific research. If we believe that existence is purely physical, it might lead us to focus solely on studying matter and energy. But if we believe there's more to existence than the physical, it might inspire us to explore consciousness, subjective experience, and other aspects of reality that are harder to measure and quantify. As we wrap up our exploration of existence, it's important to remember that there's no single, universally accepted answer to the question of what it means to exist. Different philosophical traditions, scientific theories, and personal beliefs all offer different perspectives. What's crucial is that we continue to ask these questions, to explore and ponder the nature of our existence. It's through this questioning, this relentless curiosity about the nature of reality, that we expand our understanding of ourselves and the universe we inhabit. So the next time you're going about your day, take a moment to really consider your own existence. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath. Consider your thoughts, your emotions, your memories. Reflect on your place in the vast expanse of the universe. Exist not just in a passive sense, but actively. Engage with your existence. Question it. Explore it. Marvel at the sheer wonder of being. Because in the end, regardless of how we define existence philosophically or scientifically, the fact remains, you are here. You are experiencing this moment. You exist. And that, in itself, is a profound and beautiful thing. As we conclude this exploration of existence, I encourage you to carry these questions with you. Let them spark your curiosity, fuel your wonder about the world around you, because it's in questioning our existence that we truly begin to appreciate the miracle of being alive. Thank you for joining me on this cosmic journey. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and above all, keep existing in the fullest sense of the word. This is Cosmic Serenity signing off.